It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is back again for its 15th season. And like many other shows, this season was actually delayed because of COVID. So it pushed its release date back quite a bit from what it was originally supposed to be. Which is frustrating when you're excited to see a show that you like. But I can appreciate that because I do think that this is one of the strongest seasons that Sunny has had in a while. Now this season is cut down to 8 episodes instead of their normal 10. And this season is probably most commonly known as the season where they go to Ireland, because the last 4 episodes is about the gang taking a trip to Ireland for an acting job that Dee gets. And the first 4 episodes are just kind of the normal things that happen in the bar, much like a lot of the other episodes. But what I was impressed with this season is that Sunny has found a way to keep itself relevant, which it's been really good about, but is really impressive when you're on your 15th season and you're still able to be fresh and hilarious and surprising. And that was a huge relief to see with this season, because there is always concerns about a show that runs for as long as this show has, and with the last couple seasons it's felt like the quality has been waning a little bit from its earlier seasons. However, I would say that season 15 is easily better than, at the very least, the last 2 seasons. I love what they did with just the concept overall for this season. The first episode especially I really liked, and is basically just catching up with the gang and what they've done during COVID. And of course they are inadvertently responsible for some of the biggest events that happened in that year or so, and it's hilarious to see. But one thing that I think is smart that they're doing is that they are constantly kind of changing the situations that the gang is in, because it is easy to fall into a routine and give them kind of a generic beat by beat story, which I think one episode in this season does have that. But the rest of them did interesting things. The first episode was catching up with them during COVID. Another episode was about how they came into ownership of the bar. And there's a lot of great running gags throughout. And then the second half of the season, like I said, is a trip to Ireland. And that's something that I've really liked that they've done with the show in the last handful of years, is when they put the gang in different settings. Because I think that's when it's been its strongest in the last handful of seasons, with like the gang going to the water park, or the gang beats Boggs, them going on the cruise ship, everything like that. So I'm excited to see them put these characters in new settings, because these characters are absolutely awful and ridiculous, but incredibly entertaining to watch. And the main cast does an amazing job playing these characters once again. There's some really great running gags in this season, especially with Charlie, because you learn that he technically has majority ownership of the bar, but every time he comes around to starting to realize that, Mac and Dennis distract him. And then once they're in England, you also learn that Charlie, who it has been established several times over the entire run of the show, is extremely illiterate, cannot read English at all, is completely fluent in Gaelic in both speaking it and reading it. So there's some really hilarious things they do throughout this season. I do think that overall this season has been a lot stronger. And one thing that I do like that they've done a lot more recently is kind of bring a little bit more of an emotional punch, because they do that in the final episode of this season with Charlie. I'd say this season is a little bit more focused on him, which Charlie Day's great in the role, so I have no problem with that. But they do kind of give him a little bit more of an emotional moment in the finale with him and his dad. And that's something that I do like about the show. I kind of wish that there was a little bit more of that, but I also don't want the show to run away from its comedic ability and everything. So I'll take the little bit that I can. But it's kind of similar to Mac's dance at the end of, I think, season 13. I don't know if I'm right about that. It could be 12 or 13. It's cool to see, because even though the show is just a straight up comedy with ridiculous characters, you do become invested in these characters over that amount of time. So it is cool to see these little bit of emotional, dramatic things thrown in there every once in a while. So I liked that. I thought the season overall was very solid. I thought it was really funny. I do think it's better than the last couple seasons have been. So I'm going to be rating It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia season 15 an 8.5 out of 10. I had a lot of fun with it. What did you guys think of this season? Let me know, and I'll be back with another video.